how are you?
Hi, Yvette. How are you? I'm
I'm
great.
wonderful. Good. It's so great to see you, and I'm so excited to catch up with you. I know a lot of great things have been happening over at Central Texas Table of Grace, and I wanted to just say that I met you about 3 years ago now, which is crazy, and got to hear your journey and was so inspired by you and what you're doing out in the community. So I'm gonna let you go for it. Tell us what Central Texas Table Grace is all about and where it started and all the good things.
Okay, great. It's 6 years ago. I opened the doors to Central Texas Table of Grace, which is an emergency shelter for foster kids. And we take kids between the ages of 6 and 17. We take boys and girls so that we can help keep sibling groups together. We didn't, they get a lot of times in foster care, sibling groups get separated. So we purposely wanted to take boys and girls so that we could keep those sibling groups together. And it's just been an incredible journey. 6 years and just couldn't have done it without my amazing community and amazing businesses like you guys. It really, when I opened, it was like real life miracles that happened. I mean, when I decided to open about 18 months after I said, I'm doing this, it happened and we opened the doors, but it was like real life miracles, like big, huge stuff that like doesn't happen. And we opened. So it's been amazing.
Oh, it has totally. Yes. And we're big believers at Realty Austin, and what you focus on expands. And I could just tell that you had a vision, you had a dream, and you made it happen. So super
Yes.
proud of you. Let's see. Our first question for this virtual conversation is I think we already talked about getting started, but how has your organization grown over the past 6 years?
So one of the things that was really difficult for me was, well, first of all, we're an emergency shelter, and what that's designed for is basically to give the kids a safe place to stay while they're looking for a more permanent option, like a foster home or something like that. Obviously, that's the ultimate goal, or reunification with the family. But there's a placing crisis in Texas. There's not enough places for these kids to go. And so kids are really only supposed to stay in a shelter for 90 days or less. And what we noticed was that they were staying longer and longer. I mean, we've had kids up to a year before. And so we decided very early on, about a year after opening, that we really had to beef up our program. Like these kids just can't be toiling here, just do. Like, we got to make sure that they're doing well in school. We got to have a mentoring program. We got to, we do like the speaker of the month where, we have a visitor and that will maybe tell them about a career, or like, just a fun one, like, the police come and do like let them do the lights and sirens and, stuff like that. But we've really expanded our programming, and not only that, but just we really try to make it fun, so that they can be a kid. So many of these kids have not had a chance to be a kid. They've been taking care of a drug addicted parent, or taking care of themselves because they're not being taken care of, or taking care of siblings. And so we just really, obviously coronavirus has changed a lot of things, but we would do Six Flags, Schlitterbahn, big time fun stuff all the time. I mean, and every day of summer was always filled with lots of fun. But the thing I'm most excited about, as far as expanding, is Grace 365. And what that is that one of the most heartbreaking things for me was when kids would actually age out of foster care in our shelter. So they would turn 18 while they're in the shelter, and they would say, well, can I just stay here? It makes me cry just saying that. And it's like, well, no, because you're 18. You're considered an adult now. Ha ha, right? And so they couldn't stay in the program after they're 18. And so I decided to fix that. I wanted to make sure that we could help these kids transition to a successful adulthood, because so many of them, there's a lot of programs and services and things for these kids when they age out, but usually when they turn 18, they're done. They're like, I don't want CPS in my life, child protective services. They feel like they've ruined their life. They feel like they're going to be controlled, and decisions are going to be made for them, and they didn't have a good experience in foster care, and so they're just like, I'm out. And so I wanted to be part of that solution, not only for the kids that age out of grace, because we've already built this amazing relationship with them. So we could continue, have a continuum of care for them. And then also, I want to be part of the larger solution of helping kids decide to stay in care, explaining to them what that looks like. And, especially with my program, it's not about controlling you. It's not about telling you what you can and can't do. It's about coming alongside of you and helping you achieve your goals. And so I'm excited about that. And January 1st, we launched that program. So
I'm so excited for you. Yes, yes. You are a great mentor, and I'm sure you're gathering great mentors as well. And that's why we're so excited to be alongside that journey with you. We actually just presented at our company conference that we were on this journey with Table of Grace and Grace 365, and really expressing how we want to get at the root of the problem with you, right? We support SAFE and we support Community First Village and the different shelters, and what you're doing is exactly that, is getting to the root of the problem before they need those other services. So we're super excited for your vision and can't wait to see you implement it. And we're going to do as much as we can to help you. So um, let's see. That's so super exciting. Can you tell me how can the community get involved in supporting the initiative of providing housing at Table of Grace, or as we go into the future at Grace 365?
well, it's actually, you mentioned Alan Graham with Community First Village, and he's actually the one and I apologize if I butcher this quote, but he said something like, housing doesn't solve homelessness, but community does. And I think that that's so true. And it was actually, and so it's funny that you mentioned him too, and that I know you support them. But when I toured Community First Village, which is that tiny homes village for the homeless, I was so inspired. I was like, we need this for kids aging out of foster care. What an amazing community, and things like that. And so that's what inspired me to do Grace 365. Of course, that's a multi-million dollar project to create a tiny homes village like that. And so I didn't want to wait to do that. I wanted to start helping kids now. So I started to sign leases on apartments so that we can start helping kids now while we work on that ultimate vision of getting some land in the Round Rock Hutto area. And part of that vision is also to move the shelter so that we can save about $80,000 a year on rent and become more sustainable with our current programming. But the way that the community can get involved, and especially now with Grace 365, there are so many amazing opportunities. Like, for instance, right now, one of your agents, so many of them are involved with Grace personally, and do volunteering and do all kinds of things. But one of your amazing agents is actually signed on to furnish our next apartment. And so she's, going to help furnish it and things like that. And then we also got someone in the community to donate a storage space to us so that we can collect items for Grace 365. So one of the things that we're going to always have on hand is sort of like paper products and, toilet paper, paper towels, hygiene products, things like that, so that the kids can focus and save their money and not have to worry about those things that are so easy for us to gather. We can gather that stuff. We can do a little delivery once a month to them with all their things that they need. And then they can focus on saving their money, getting prepared, and not always, just fighting for paycheck to paycheck. And, they can really get a chance to get on their feet. And then we're going to have mentoring, and we're going to have, we discussed some things like, food train type things where once a week or twice a week they could get like a real home cooked meal, so they don't have to worry about cooking. There's just so many things that we're developing. We're going to have a wish list. So right now for the shelter, if you go on our website, you can go and we have a wish list, and sometimes it's specific requests for each child. So, something special they want. Sometimes it's just household products that we use at the shelter, like cleaning supplies or something that helps us save on our budget. But we're actually going to create a separate wish list for Grace 365, which will likely have stuff on it like little coffee maker, blender, so when we're furnishing those apartments, it's not such a big ask, for someone to come furnish it. But then also we need a coffee maker, a blender. I mean, you'd be amazed how much stuff you need. Like, you forget when you move into an apartment and you're starting from scratch. It's like, okay, hand soap, sponges, trash bags, garbage cans, all these things, and it just adds up. There's just so much. So yeah, we're going to have so many opportunities for the community to get involved in, and it's really exciting. I'm so excited. Can you tell?
I love it. I love it. I can feel your enthusiasm. Yes, I think, yeah, it's like a virtual housewarming party. Where we all
Exactly.
just give a little bit and it'll add up to a very warm home. So anything that we can do to help, you just let us know. My last question for you is, what is the most rewarding part of working with the children at Table of Grace?
I knew this question was going to make me cry. Um, the most rewarding thing is seeing them succeed in things that they want to do. I think that, I grew up in foster care. I went into foster care when I was 2, and I actually asked at 15, after being in 10 different placements, if I could just go to a group home. Because if I went to a group home, I could just do my chores and follow the rules, and like I'd get to stay there, right? Like I wouldn't get moved anymore. I could just stay there. And I did at 15 go into a group home. And there was a therapist there, and his name was Russ Hansen. And I remember telling him at 15 years old, I want to get legally emancipated by the time I'm 16. And instead of, which means I would legally be an adult and I would be on my own. And instead of laughing me out of his office, he said, "You know what? It's a big deal being a grown up. It's harder than it sounds, but I know you can do it. And we're going to have to get right to work." And he bought me this book called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective Teens. And that book talks about being proactive instead of reactive, beginning with the end in mind, writing down your goals. And I think in foster care, your self esteem is torn to shreds bit by bit. Every time you have a move, you really feel like you have no control over your life. You start to, just think that nothing that you do matters. And it just tears you down bit by bit by bit. And so sometimes it's difficult to overcome that. And when I started to set these goals, with Russ, and I got a job, and I started to do these things, bit by bit my self-esteem came back. I it was like magic. It was like I could write something down that I wanted, I could do some stuff, and the thing would happen. It was like magic. I thought, oh my God, I have control. I can do this. I can make things happen. And so many of these, I mean, these kids are in foster care through no fault of their own. And to help them see that they can succeed and that they do matter and that the things that they do matter, and to see them set a goal and achieve it, is the most rewarding thing for me. When they actually see, hey, I can do something, I can do this, and I matter. That is really the best part. And I just can't wait to see more of that, because with Grace 365, we're gonna get to have a long-term relationship. We're not just a shelter. They're not just leaving after 3 months. We're gonna get to really pour into these young adults and help them succeed. And it's gonna be great.
It is going to be great. Yes, definitely helping the next generation of kids that are out there. I love it so much. And you were just such an inspiring mentor to be able to show them where you came from and where you've been. Is just so it's a beautiful story. Thank you so much for sharing. You are changing lives, Stacy, and we are so excited to be on this journey with you. Just happened out of you may say luck, but I believe that you are totally manifesting your dreams, and that is exactly where we are. So can't wait to see what happens next. Here we go with Grace 365. We're looking for some land right now. We're manifest where that is for these kids, and we'll catch up with you again soon.
Well, thank you, Yvette, for everything you do in the community. It's just incredible to see the things that you do to make a difference, and what you guys do matters so much. I mean, it just was such a big deal to me, what you guys have done for me, and just not even that, but each individual agent that has, helped and done things. I mean, there's just so many of them now. I mean, I couldn't even begin to name them all. So thank you so much for everything you guys do. It matters so much. It really makes a difference, because all the love and support I was missing as a child, I'm getting it now from my community, and I get to give it back to these kids. And that's truly the most rewarding thing. So thank you so much.
Oh, you're so welcome. Yes, together we can do big things. You rock, Stacy. Thank you.